Hello and welcome to another episode of Property-Pxrn Stars, the premium property podcast. And today I'm begrudgingly joined by Amanda Haworth, who is the Managing Director of Buyer Design in Horsham, Haywards, Heath, a lovely part of West Sussex. I say begrudgingly because this isn't really your style, your thing, but I think you'd be a really interesting guest, so I've twisted your arm into doing it.
You have, yes. Yeah, you have. Yeah, it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but there we go.
No, I don't think it should be. But you did say something funny just a second ago, like before we hit record. And because obviously this podcast is about the premium market, and that's where you're that's where you're in, that's what you're doing now, and you're doing really well at it. But I think you were saying that you said, oh, it's a funny moment doing this together because you started listening to this podcast like as you were considering getting into the premium market before?
Yes, yeah. So I was in an employed role on a high street agency, and we used to do more mid-market and then a little bit of high end, which I love doing and I really wanted to explore more. I think to me it always felt like the more my career progressed, the higher value I wanted to go. So that was always kind of where I wanted to be. But I guess, again, self-confidence was like, could I ever do it? So yeah, I came across your podcast and was listening to that for a bit. And then that's when I made the jump to the previous self-employed role that I had into the premium market. But yeah, it definitely had an impact. So it's a bit weird that I'm now sitting here talking to you.
Yeah. Funny full circle thing. We've been working together for a while as well. So it shouldn't feel funny, but it does. So going back to what you were saying about because that was what I was going to ask you first of all, was sort of why the premium market, and was it that you felt that it was like the graduation or the next levels in the game almost of increasing levels of challenge, or
I think that challenge. I found it way more interesting. I used to get to a point where I would go out on a valuation like over $1 million and feel really comfortable and win it, which some people just wouldn't feel very comfortable go into properties like that, whereas I just loved it. And then I'd go to like a 2-bed terrace house and I'd lose it. So it was a kind of a bit of a running joke that it was like, how can you not get a 2-bed semi-detached house on, Amanda, but you can get £1.5 million property on. So I just naturally, and I don't know if that's also the way that my enthusiasm used to come across in appointments as well.
Like, so you tell them the 2 beds.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
I mean, I'd never be that bad, but like, it obviously, I don't know. I just find people's stories fascinating on like how they've ended up with homes like that, the homes themselves, the architecture, the history, like what work clients have done. I just find that there's just so much more to ask and find out about the home, and just marketing it and just everything about it I just really enjoyed. So yeah, that's why.
There's a funny thing about whether you're good at something because you enjoy it, or you enjoy it, therefore you're kind of good at it.
Yeah.
It is a funny thing, and I don't know whether it's probably not right for me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway and get in trouble. I feel like some people naturally have an affinity to the premium market, and some people, I don't know what the opposite of an affinity is really, but just really don't get on with it. They don't like it and would almost steer away from it. And I'm really conscious that I bang on about the premium market all the time and bore people to death about it, even from just like a financial, monetary value point of view. And I'm like, why wouldn't you do this? But maybe not appreciating that with some people, they just don't gel with it. They don't like it.
They don't, no. I've actually got an old manager of mine who's just gone self-employed, and he loves the mid-market, and we joke, like I always say I won't get out of bed anything under $1 million, and he always says, oh yeah, like it literally terrifies me, anything over $1 million. So, and he just, that's his comfort zone, but also he's very good at it. And I just think sometimes you do have to find your place, and like you do sometimes think, well, why would you not want to sell these beautiful £1 million property homes? But it's not for everyone.
And maybe there's people thinking, well, why would I want to do it? Okay, fair enough. And maybe it's a good thing actually that different people focus on different parts of the market.
Exactly.
And selfishly, probably good for us that like not everyone's going after the premium market as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Sometimes I do think maybe I should shut up about this.
Yeah. Keep it a secret.
I don't think it's a very well kept secret, but that thought did cross my mind. I was like, am I doing a good thing or a bad thing here? I don't know. So you'd kind of always seen that progression into the premium market, and then like just for the sake of a bit of context, maybe geographically, what's premium to you in your part of the world?
Really, to me, I'm only doing £1 million plus.
Okay. Where does that top out? It wouldn't really, or
no, not. Yeah, I mean, there's not that many transactions above three and a half
Yeah.
in my area.
Yeah.
But I would love to get into that, sort of higher prime,
Yeah.
super prime market.
Yeah.
That's just me. Just want to keep going
ladder,
higher and higher.
Ladder, yeah.
So anything, or I've got a little cottage property that's just under the million, like 900. So anything that's that very unique, quirky, Grade 2 listed. I sell a lot of Grade 2 listed properties. Just anything
like that.
Beautiful and unusual.
I often think it's like less about the price tag,
yes,
and more about how unique, or sometimes even like how challenging it might be. If you've got a listed thatched cottage, you think, okay, that's going to come
unique and challenging is my speciality, I guess. I don't know why sometimes, because it's hard. It's hard to find. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find buyers. It's hard to get the sales through. But yeah, I really enjoy it.
And so you enjoy it, but then like, why? And so what I guess I'm asking there is what's different between the premium market and the more volume market?
Yep.
And I guess in answering that as well, like, what are the things that you think might put people off or attract people to the premium market? Sort of, I know that there's sort of the natural numerical goals that kind of come with going higher up in the market, but other than that, what have you found that's been different?
I guess sales are definitely more complex. Just the properties themselves, whether it's the titles or the drainage. A lot of the properties I sell are on private drainage. That can cause separate complications. There's just so much more to a property at that level. So it is definitely more issues can come up, I guess.
And whereas that attracts you, some other people will be going, I can't bother with all that.
No, I really like that. I love overcoming challenges and just trying to find solutions for things that come up. I guess with the mid-market as well, I always used to feel a bit of a control freak, that when you work in an office for a mid-market, you're passing stuff, I might do a viewing, and then, because it's like volume, you'll be doing 10, 15 viewings on one house. And then by Monday, you'd be doing something else, and someone else would be dealing with the offers and the feedback of that, and then someone else would be dealing with the sales progression. I find more in the premium market is that it has to be the same person, or it works so much better being the same person dealing with it from start to finish. But the challenges with that are clients sometimes are more demanding. You do have to be available 24/7. They're normally busy people themselves, business owners. So, but the viewings are usually less, and you can obviously, the fees are higher, so it's less properties that you're taking on.
And I think that was sort of where I was going with that as well, was I think that, like, with the fees being different, i.e. not just based on the value of the house, but in percentage terms are higher. Maybe we'll talk about fees in a sec, but like that's what enables the rest of it to happen, I suppose. And I don't know, it's always like such a crap generalization. These people are cash rich and time poor, and there's always going to be some truth and some falseness to that. But generally speaking, is that they just want to instruct an expert and then let the expert do everything rather than and I suppose related to that train of thought as well is, do you think that's one of the big differences between like the middle market and the premium market done well, where there is just one person that's dealing with it from start to finish? They're not handed over to somebody else, and there's that feeling of disconnect?
Yeah, I guess so. I think, although I do know a lot of self-employed agents that are in the mid-market that are dealing with it from start to finish, and they're very successful as well. So I don't necessarily think it's a mid-market or premium market way of working. I just think for the premium market, it works so much better because you need that attention to detail. I often get properties second time round, they've been on with another agent, and one of the main things, either communication, that the agent just hasn't spoken to them. They've met the director to start with, and then they've never heard from them again. But the other one I always get is the Saturday viewing assistant comes into the house and doesn't have a clue, doesn't know where, the basic things. Like one I've got coming on soon, the agent they've got a secret ensuite, so it looks like wardrobes all along the wall. They didn't know there was an ensuite in like the secret wardrobe, to the point where the feedback was, oh, we don't like it because it's only got 2 ensuites. And
oh my God.
My new client's like, it's got 3, and they were like, oh, where's the other one? So, it's just it's basic to us, but it's happening, and it's
frightening, isn't
frightening. It is frightening,
yeah, bloody hell. So in kind of working your way up that ladder, What were the things that you had to do differently going up that ladder? And I could be talking about anything there. I don't really know. So could it be different marketing, different approach? Could it even be like the way you present yourself? Could it be different like service standards or marketing approaches to win clients as well? Like what things changed the most? Like looking back now, what's changed?
What's changed? I guess my service hasn't changed. I think I think I've always been the same. I'd like to think that I've always been the same as working in the mid-market. I would say networking. I never used to do any networking mid-market, but again, I don't know if that was just the difference between an employed role and a self-employed role, because I've never worked self-employed in the mid-market. So networking, connections, recommendations. I've very quickly realised after like the first year of working in the premium market that it's very connected. Everyone knows everyone in the premium market, like to the point I'll be going out on evaluation like miles away from somewhere else, and I'll be like, oh, I saw, and they'll be like, oh, that's
Janet's house or whatever.
I didn't know that it was you that had it on. So it hasn't even come from them, but it's everyone's so connected. Definitely networking. I guess just the level of quality in terms of, I guess, brochures and marketing material is probably definitely higher than
just
what it was.
Just a higher level of investment.
And then obviously presenter-led videos, social media. I never used to do any of that when I worked in the mid-market.
Yeah. It's interesting though that the first thing you said, that the service like hasn't changed. So was it that you kind of always wanted to give that level of service? I often think this, that you'll have some agents that have got that natural inclination to offer a high level of service and almost be like just drowning in the lower end of the market because the volume numbers are so high that they can't do it. It'd be impossible. Was that the case for you?
Yes, especially when one of my second or third, I've had quite a few jobs, second employed role. I used to work so many like out of hours just because I guess I was struggling to kind of keep up with the workload, and that's probably was it, because I was making sure that everyone had their feedback. I'd spoken to every client that we'd had on the market. Some older clients I would personally go around their house and like sign contracts with them, and like I don't know, just everything just took a lot longer, and I guess some of my colleagues in the same office wouldn't have been doing that, and then they would be going home at 6 o'clock, and then I'd still be there at 9 o'clock at night.
Like, what are you doing?
And they'd always be like, how have you run out of time? And I guess at the time I didn't really think about it, but looking back now, I probably did stuff that wasn't necessarily expected of me, but I felt like it was needed.
Yeah. Maybe that's quite an interesting thing for people that are listening to this and are in the position that you were in maybe a couple of years ago, like thinking about the premium market but not sure. And that's quite a good litmus test.
Yeah.
Like,
what if you're working out of hours?
You go, what the hell? I think less so that directly, but more. I mean, sort of putting words in your mouth. I'd like to hear it from you, but I would. It feels like it would be a feeling of frustration that, like, that that's not the way you would want to do it.
I used to get so frustrated. Like if someone didn't do something they were supposed to do, there was nothing worse than the phone ringing and someone going, oh, I haven't had a call back from blah blah in the office. He said he was going to phone me today. Like things get missed. I get that, but when it was like constantly happening, like. It would just used to drive me mad. And like when it was the manager of the office as well, and it's just like the level of the service standard was never across the board all the time, and that definitely used to frustrate me.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of the podcast, and chances are if you're listening to this podcast, then the premium property market is of some interest to you. But how interesting actually is it? Well, we can tell you that with a free personalised premium market report on the premium property market in your area. It shows you firstly the value of the premium market around you, and it also shows an in-depth competitor analysis as to what your competition are doing, the good, the bad, and in some detail as well, so you can perhaps make a strategy of how you would take some of that market for yourself if you wanted to. All you need to do is go to bydesignhomes.com/report. That's bydesignhomes.com/report, and we'll send it to you within a day or two. That's it. Back to the episode.
Okay, so when we're talking about going increasingly further up the market, like how would you go about getting new clients when you want? So you knew where you wanted to go. You knew you wanted to go further up the market.
Yep.
What things would you be doing then to attract those clients to you? And I mean that from a every single element of what you would do, how would you think, okay, what am I going to do differently tomorrow to today to target that market?
Well, I guess, I don't know how far like you want me to go back in my career, but I actually left a estate agency before I went into the premium market. So I fell out of love with it all. Like,
because of what we were talking about a second ago.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, and I just couldn't find my place. I couldn't find a role that worked around the kids. I just felt like I was in a role that was lower level than probably what I was experienced in and could do. So yeah, I completely left the market, which actually was a really good thing for me to do, because then that's when I was like listening to this podcast, and that's when I was looking online a bit more and like seeing LinkedIn and seeing people that had done that. They'd gone into the premium market, and it started to make me think, well, actually, if they're doing it, then like, why can't I? And then I guess at that point, yeah, I realised I'd missed all the stuff that I loved in a estate agency, because I went into recruitment for about 6 months, and
It wasn't for you.
It was not for me. I was so bad at it. I was so bad. I was like in my little booth. I'd never worked in an office either. Just little things like that, like in terms of an
You
office
worked in a
block.
high street office.
Yeah, I
but
worked
not
in a high street, but that's like people coming past all the time, people coming in and out. You know, like even things like a lunch break. I know this can sound really stupid, but you don't get lunch breaks in a estate agency, really. And they were like, oh, you've got an hour. And I was like, what do I do for an hour? So I used to go and sit in my car, in the car park, by myself, because that's where I used to have my lunch in the estate agency. So I was like, oh, it's just normal. Like, I'll just sit on the phone, like in my car, because I didn't really know what to do with myself. But yeah, just being confined to that one space, going in the morning, sitting at a desk and going home again, just really wasn't for me. So yeah, anyway, I'm diversing. But yes, so what was the question again? We
were talking about like what you would
what I'd
do differently to attract the clients.
Oh yes. So then when I went into the premium market, I was self-employed. So yeah, I had nothing to lose. I started off door knocking. That is what I spent like all my time doing, just driving around door knocking. Did a couple of networking events. But yeah, it was mainly that. And then most of the first instructions that I got were from door knocks. And then after that, it was then referrals from those ones, or buyers that had seen, you know, boards that were then selling. And then it kind of snowballed from there, really. And then now, do you want me to stop?
No, I think let's carry on. If anyone listening, there's a wood chip has decided to turn on outside, so it's not too distracting.
Very loud. Yeah, so when I went and joined By Design, I already had quite a nice network of clients that have really become my biggest cheerleaders, to be honest. Like I've got 2 or 3 that I sold their house like 18 months ago that are still messaging me like, oh, I've just recommended you to my neighbour or someone at the school. And yeah, that's where I get a lot of my business from, which is lovely. So I haven't had to do as much door knocking with By Design than I did with my previous company. And then, yeah, obviously just getting By Design's name out there, my name out there a bit more. So a lot more targeted marketing and adverts. I've joined a lot more networking groups as well. So that's been really beneficial. So I've got a lovely one which has been set up by an agent that I work with. And it's all different. It's not just property. It's all different walks of life, different businesses. And already I've had a couple of referrals from that. Yeah, it's all women local to the area.
Funny question off the back of that. What have you done that hasn't worked? I know sometimes that's quite hard to tell because you never know. That's kind of the challenge with advertising and marketing in general. Like you never know which bits actually resonate with people. But is there anything you've done like, that was an interesting idea? Yeah. Didn't really work. Wouldn't do that again.
Google Ads.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what I'm doing.
No,
and
I
I
had the same
spent quite a lot, and then it just sort of had my credit card details and just kept rolling, and I didn't even really realise until my accountant was like, Amanda, what's going on here? So yes, that was definitely a waste of money.
I'd have answered that question the same actually. Google Ads.
Yeah. And I haven't got anything from it as far as I'm aware. I normally ask people where, you know, if they book a valuation, where it's come from. Social media is still a work in progress. I don't personally think I'm at that point yet where I'm getting valuations or anything from it at the moment, but I do think it's a very good platform for people to come and look at. It's a bit like a portfolio in a way, isn't it?
That's the way I kind of think about it. We were talking about this the other day to an extent, like what the bit of the journey that someone would go on when they come to consider instructing you. Like they might you might door knock or get a recommendation or referral, and they think, oh well, who's Amanda? Look them up on their website. It's probably one place they go, and then socials is another. So actually, it's a funny thing that, because people say, I don't know, I've had people say that, oh, don't worry about how things look on your grid, like on your actual profile on social, on say Instagram, because people never see it that way. I think for agency, that might not be the case. I think it is a place to go that people would like verify you are who you are, you do what you say you do, you're consistent as professional, and also crucially that their property aligns with other ones that you sold.
Yeah, and you've got that experience in dealing with the premium market.
Yeah.
Because, you know, By Design isn't known in my area.
Yeah.
So they're going on the website. Obviously, there's a lot of lovely properties on there, but there's not necessarily Amanda on there. So, yeah, to then be able to go to my Instagram page or Facebook page and then, like you say, look at the grid, scroll down and be like, oh, yeah, so she has sold that one. She's got that one listed. She knows what she's doing, hopefully. Yeah. they see that. And, and then it's got my testimonials on there as well. So
yeah, it's just an interesting way of thinking about what your socials look like, isn't it? And I need to think about that. I just sort of wake up and try and think of something that day. I know some people are really organised; they plan it out for the whole week.
Plan it out for the whole week.
I can't do that.
It is definitely like one of the last things on my list sometimes, but it's very time consuming.
Yeah,
but I do think it is a big part of the business. So.
Yeah, and so how did you? I guess the answer to this is sort of door knocking, I suppose. But if you're going from like a cold start in an area and almost putting yourself in the shoes of someone who's maybe listening to this, maybe who's in the middle market, has those feelings of frustrations. If you were saying to them, okay, I think you should do X, Y, and Z differently now to push yourself further up market, even if they're going to stay where they are maybe for now before doing something of their own, what kind of things would you say, oh, I wish I'd have done that, or this would be good advice, or start making your socials look like this, or start presenting yourself in a certain way? Like, are there anything that you know, if you could speak to you 2 years ago, what kind of things would you be saying to Amanda from then?
Question.
Is it?
What did I say 2 years ago? I guess it's just about getting that first instruction really in the premium market.
Yeah, there's so much.
I don't know if that's the best advice, but I think that just makes you showcase what you've sold, and
100% agree with that.
You're changing what you are currently selling at the market, and that's the only way to do it. Is you've just got to get those first 2-3 instructions and do them well, market them well, advertise them well, sell the story of how you've sold them, get the testimonials from the clients and the buyers, and then I think that you've got that platform then, haven't you, to show.
100% agree. Like I have that conversation with so many agents that are either joining By Design or just talking about the premium market. I think that is the crucial thing, like that first 1, 2, 3 instructions. And then even if you just saw them and that's very poor form from me, isn't it? My phone's gone off. Let me put that on Do Not Disturb. Even if you see those as a investment, not necessarily making a load of money. Don't get me wrong, they're always going to pay pretty well. But even if you just see them as an investment and showing what you can do and show how different the marketing is, like they're worth it just for that.
Just for that,
and then on that then, so picking up on that, what was the conversation like with those first vendors to get them to be the first one? Because everyone hates being the first.
Yes.
So how did you get across that barrier with them then?
Well, when I first went into the premium market, when I By Design, when I first went into the premium market, to be honest, I think because I'd done a little bit of premium market with my employed role. I had a bit of story, but again, it was nothing. I was behind a brand then. I wasn't. Nothing was available for me to share on socials or anything like that. The first conversations, I guess it was just people just completely trusting in me and
taking a leap of faith.
Just taking a leap of faith, which I'm be forever grateful for. Yeah.
And were you quite upfront in addressing that with them and saying like that you're going to be the first, but it means the world to me, so I'm going to work at this?
No, I don't think I did actually.
Just like, let's do it.
Yeah, I was just like, I know what I'm doing. Like, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I had those conversations with people. It's maybe later on, but no, I don't think I.
And now, how much marketing do you do now to get new instructions? Like, are you pushing quite hard on that? Is it a time of year thing? I guess my question is like, where's your business at the minute then?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm quite happy where the business is at the moment. I started in September last year with By Design, and obviously September, October.
They're awful.
Well, it was end of September actually. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we had the budget, and it was pretty horrific.
Good timing.
Yeah, great timing. So I kind of spent those first few months really trying to think about how I want my brand to look and how I want to come across, and starting to get the By Design name out there. That was just through leaflets and introductions and things like that. And then I started selling Sussex, my little talk show, around that time as well, because I just really wanted something to go on social media that showcased all the professionals that I work with in the background.
Yeah.
You know, it's very easy for me to sit on camera and go, oh, your home should be staged because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not the professional in that field. I can give advice on it, but why not have, you know, Lemon and Lime on there talking about what they do and what they do well? Or why not have the buying agent I work with talking about how she can search for properties for her clients? And I've had loads of people on there, so that's been.
So I love the name, obviously, like selling Sussex. So many people, got covered selling Sunset.
Yeah.
So just for people listening to this, like, and they're thinking, oh, that's quite an interesting idea. Like, what is it? What's the format? How long are the interviews? Like, how do you do it? And what's been the results from it, if you can measure them at all?
That's a tricky one to probably measure, but it was kind of a bit of an idea that I just dreamt up, and I would love to sit here and be like it was all planned out and polished, but it really wasn't. I basically had 4 people that I'd briefly spoken to about, and then I thought, actually, rather than just, because I was just going to do like me with a camera doing it myself, but I got my professional videographer to come in and do it. And then I thought, actually, I'll make it quite pretty, and I got the 2 blue chairs and did like a bit of a setup in my spare room. And
it's just in your spare room?
It's just my spare room.
It looks really nice.
Just did that, and then I guess. Yeah, we just ran through like 3 or 4 questions that I would send them beforehand, just so that they could prep on what they were going to answer. And then really it was just for them to advertise their businesses, their services and what they do, and hopefully be really helpful advice for someone looking to sell or buy in the premium market, because there's such an army to... It's not just me, you know, there's like so many other people involved and so many other professionals involved. So I just thought it'd be a really nice way to showcase that. But
it is a really nice way to showcase that, and it's really good sort of building those bridges with those companies as well. You were working with them before. But I think that's something that is a bit under valued once you're sort of in it. So I know, talking to James from By Design in Devon, he's very, very similar setup. He's got like 5 or 6 companies he works really closely with, both from a selfish point of view, like he gets really good business from them, and likewise as well, he refers lots of clients, that they're kind of crucial to the ecosystem of getting a client in that end of the market moved. And the client wants that as well, to sort of, and there's like a little chain link fence of trust or something, where okay, if the client trusts James said, well, look, I've got this person that does removals, this person does finance, this person that does AV installation or whatever it might be. They're like, well, look, okay, if you worked with them before, I trust all these companies, and you will kind of come as a bit of a package. Is that what it's been like for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think also from their part, they've all got a similar level of service to me. So they have been recommending me to their clients as well, because it's the same thing, you know, they know that their clients are going to be looked after by me if they're looking to sell or buy. And so it's been, in terms of, I guess I haven't really necessarily had anything from it yet in terms of, but it's been, very...
It's one of those things that, like, to be honest with you...
Still quite early.
Yeah, it's still quite early, but also it's one of these things a bit like this podcast, for example. Like, it's really hard either for you or I to sort of measure anything tangible, financial from a business point of view, and the business will go like, what are you doing? This is weird. But it's the stuff that you can't measure where it actually makes a difference. And sometimes those are things that actually do make the difference, are the stuff that you can't measure. Like a Google ad, you can measure every penny on that, but it was useless. And I had exactly the same experience with it as well. So that's really, really interesting. One thing I was going to ask you about was about selling Sussex. Taking a bit of a different turn and kind of touching on some of the stuff that today's Friday. We yesterday, together with Katie from Buyer Design, went to the Women in Estate Agency conference.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have also recorded this morning a kind of special episode about that subject with Katie and then Marie as well, which is really interesting. And without kind of rehashing that, what's your take on, I suppose, like gender in that premium market? Is it, are there times where it's an asset, that it's good, or is it mostly that it is a challenge to overcome where you have to prove yourself more? And again, I keep coming back to this, like thinking about Amanda 2 years ago, or the equivalent of you 2 years ago, might be listening to this. What would you sort of want to plant in their heads about that side of it? That it's, would you say, oh, this is going to be harder than you think it is, so be prepared for it? You say, like, actually, no, if you can prove that you're good at what you do, then you get around it. Like, what kind of things would you be saying to them?
Well, as a woman, I think I find it easier being in the premium market as a woman than I do in the mid-market.
That's really interesting.
And I don't know if that's the difference of being employed and self-employed, because it all kind of happened at the same time.
Yeah, you can't extract the two things from one another. Yeah, I get that.
So, yeah, and I've never had any, since working in the premium market, I've never had any bad or negative feedback that I am a woman working in this industry. I think if anything, it's, been a positive probably in some aspects, like especially like door knocking. Like a lot of the doors I do go to are women at home, and maybe they feel more comfortable with someone like me turning up at their house and having a chat. Sometimes I'm invited in, and we have a coffee together and talk about what we can do to help. So yeah, I think if anything, it's probably a little bit of an advantage.
It's funny, isn't it? Because like so much of even this morning's conversation, we had about an hour, and there was some of the stuff was very like eye-opening for me, because obviously I don't see the mountains of negative stuff that come with it. And yesterday was really quite an inspirational day as well on that subject too. And yeah, likewise, I've been sort of ignorant to so much of the negative, maybe ignorant to some of the positive as well. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So you'd be arguably saying to someone who was, a woman considering going to the premium market, actually there's lots of advantages. It's not as scary as it might seem sometimes. No, it's not.
No, and I think sometimes you look at some of these bigger corporate high-end brands, and a lot of them, or especially in my area, they're all male branch managers. They'll be the ones I'll be up against when I'm going out on valuations, and it is quite daunting. You're like, my goodness, he's been in the industry like 25 years and he works for this huge brand, and then you've got me going along like, hi, I'm Amanda from Buyer Design. So but then again, that's just me getting in my head, because he hasn't got anything more to offer. I've got way more to offer than he has. And I think, you just sometimes need to take gender out of it. But I've been on valuations where I had one last year that was 8 valuations he had. I was one of 8, and I was the only female out of 7 other guys. And you just sort of think, is that a positive? Did I stand out because I was the only female? Does that make me more memorable? I don't know. So I think it's not as scary as it seems. And I think sometimes you do have to kind of just stick in your lane and stick in your bubble. And you obviously need to know what your competition are doing. But I think, again, when I was employed, we were so obsessed with what everyone was doing all the time, and like what properties listed. I remember like sitting there in morning meetings like, how did they get that instruction, and why were we not called out to that? And like my manager used to get so angry with the fact that like we weren't even given the opportunity to go out on these valuations, and so obsessed with like pie charts on how many sales that they'd done and whereas I don't do that. Like I'm very much like, I know who I want as my client. I know the type of person, the type of property, the type of value, and just ignore the noise and do what I do.
You made me think of something that was said yesterday at the Women in Estate Agency conference, which is like find your tribe. I know there's like lots of different ways to say the same thing.
Yeah, they talked a lot about that, didn't they?
Yeah. But and it sounds a little bit kind of corny when it's put like that, doesn't it? Like, it sounds a bit American or something. But I think there is something in that where, and it's all wrapped up in the same conversation about putting yourself out there on socials and accepting the fact that there's going to be an amount of the population that just naturally dislike you, because it would be weird if it wasn't.
Yeah.
The amount that dislike you, but you'll never find the ones that actually like you. We don't show them something to be attracted to, and say, oh, actually, this sounds like my kind of person. Like, I like the way they deal with property, like the way they're marketing, like the way they talk. I seem like I'm on their level. And unless you can sort of take that leap to suffer the criticism of it, then you'll never find your tribe, because you don't know what you're looking for and they don't know what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I think you've just got to be so authentic as well on like social media. I mean, you can't be one thing online and then go around someone's house and be a completely different person. And the same for all the professionals that you meet. You can't be completely two different sets of people. You have to be who you are all the time.
I agree.
And if people don't like it, then that's fine.
That's good for them. You'd rather know that and like them self-filter out. I remember, I agree. You do have to be like pretty consistent. You don't have to be in sort of work mode all the time.
No,
you
of course
can't
not.
change your character.
Yeah.
There's a funny thing that always stuck in my head. There was someone who actually came on this podcast, probably get in trouble, and they came on a podcast and they were dressed like really casually. They looked really cool, like they're like good dress. I obviously don't know what I'm doing with dress sense, but like they were like quite cool. And then they were talking. And they said, "Oh no, when I do business, I'm always in a full suit and tie." And I was like, "Really?" So firstly, that's a bit odd. Not odd, unusual nowadays to be full suit and tie. And I was like, "Well, if that's you, then why aren't you now? Like one of you's you're the same person, but one of you is pretending somehow."
Yeah.
And it was just a weird inconsistency that I think in the days of social media, like, you know, you could be out with the family, with the kids at a farm park or something, and someone might come up and talk to you, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah," and you just carry on like you would do any other day of the week, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to ask you about something else, and I went down a complete rabbit hole, because what were we talking about before? We were talking about I might edit this bit out because I wanted to get back to something that you were saying. We were talking about the gender bit, and then where do we go after the gender bit? Oh, I know what it was. I remember now.
Yeah.
You said something a second ago, which I really liked, and you said, "Oh, I just have to get out of my own head."
Yes.
So what do you mean by that? And then how do you do it?
How do I do it? Yes, I think, obviously we spoke about this on the podcast this morning, but and imposter syndrome obviously came up loads yesterday, didn't it? On the not conference. I think it's lack of, like, I know what I'm doing, and everyone always hates that term, fake it till you make it. And I see fake it till you make it very differently to a lot of people, because I think people think you're almost faking the job until you make it, whereas I'm faking my confidence sometimes before I go. Do you know what I mean? Or not faking the confidence, but almost like bigging myself up before I go into something that I feel very uncomfortable with, like today. And so I think overcoming, I guess it's just mindset, isn't it? And just reminding yourself that you do know what I do know what I'm doing, and I am good at it. And it's just bringing it back down sometimes. But you do have bad weeks. You do have weeks where you've lost an instruction, or a sale's fallen through, or something just hasn't quite gone the way that you want it to, or the numbers aren't looking like you'd expect them to, however months into the business. But I think it's just consistency, and mindset plays a massive part of it, really.
I think a bit like the way that, so you were saying imposter syndrome came up a lot yesterday, and I think they were saying it yesterday, and I'd heard this before, that the person who coined that phrase really regrets calling it that. They wish they'd called it imposter like experience or something, rather than syndrome, because syndrome sounds like something that you can't get rid of. It's sort of endemic in you. So in the same vein as that, I also think I wish there was a better expression for that fake it till you make it.
Yes.
It's such a crap way of putting something.
It is.
That makes what you're doing feel inauthentic.
Yes.
When it's not. You're just starting it.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything but, you know, create something at that point. I just wish there was a better way
of wording it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know what you mean. Yeah. So then like breaking that down again, I'm thinking about like, again, for people that maybe listened to this 2 years ago, whoever it might be, like when you say not faking it till you make it, when you're, I always think of it a little bit like you're acting like the person that you want to be, more than it being faking it till you make it, because that sounds like you're lying to someone.
You're lying and you're completely unauthentic. But I think that over my career, I've had my confidence knocked like quite a few times just with what's happened in various companies. So it just goes back to, you know, that person saying I can't do that, or I'm not good enough, or whatever the situations were. So when you're working on your own, it's very easy to be, yeah, like you say, when you're up against these big companies sometimes, like, God, what am I doing? Like, what? Like, who do I think I am? Like, trying to build this business against all these, you know, some of them are amazing agents. And it's not easy, but yeah, it's.
And then, so we talk a little bit about like the mindset and the resilience. But in terms of actually winning the instructions, then is a lot of that about coming back to the slightly cheesy expression of finding your tribe, but the people that resonate with you will resonate with you and won't with them.
Yeah.
Or what's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I guess our by design network's great, isn't it? Like I've got some great members of the network that I'll just be able to ring up and be like, oh God, I'm having this day. Like, and they'll just talk me down from my madness. My husband is my biggest cheerleader though. Like he and my kids, you know, my little girls, they're always like, Mummy sells big houses. And if we go drive past one of my boards, they'll be like, look, Mummy, yay. And they'll be excited. So it's, yeah, just all those little bits. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like one person or one tribe, but it's a number of people that build you up. And even my clients to some extent, like they wouldn't know that they're doing it, but all it takes sometimes is like a little message to be like, oh, thanks so much, Amanda. And you don't expect it, and then something's happened that day, and it just makes you think like, oh, okay, what I have done has really impacted them and has really helped them.
Guess come back to what you said earlier about they're putting their relationship with their friend on the line by recommending you. So they clearly do seriously value what you do for them, because they would be saying to them, like, it's easier for them to not take a risk and not refer you or recommend you to anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've got about the biggest compliment of all, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And then, so looking forward into your business, like, where would you want to be in the next few years? Do you want to grow the business? Do you want to grow market share? Like, maybe not, I don't know. Do you want to grow the business in terms of people and agents along with you? What does the future look like?
Yeah, I would love to grow the team and get a couple of self-employed agents in my team that have the same level of service, the same mindset, the same resilience and ambition to grow something hopefully quite special in Sussex will be the goal. Market share is an interesting one because I'm not really that fixated on that, to be honest, because we're very low volume, and I feel like if I'm focused so much on that, it's going against what I am doing and the service that I want to be offering my clients. So yeah, not really one I'm keeping an eye at the moment.
No, I kind of put that in as a red herring of like the opposite of what you'd be going for.
Yeah.
Do you limit the amount of instructions that you take on, or just have more of a feeling than an explicit number? Do you talk to clients about it?
I do actually, yeah. So I normally do no more than about 10 at one time, like 10 available at one time. Although just speaking to Marie, I feel like maybe that needs tweaking a little bit. But
up or down?
Down, actually. Yeah, down.
It's such a crazy mindset shift, isn't it? From like where the majority of the industry is like market share, right with pie charts, more instructions, more instructions. You're like, actually, maybe I should take on less.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And you think like, I'll be quite happy to sell to complete on 6 properties a year that would be a good year for me.
Yeah.
But to a lot of people, they're like, sorry, 6? Like, what, 6 a month? I'm like, no, like 6 in a year. But I had, at one point, I think I had about 14, 15 when I was with my previous company, and that got a bit too, I felt like I was spinning a bit too many plates. And then all it takes is one sale to be really complex and take up all your time. So I wouldn't want that, because you feel all their emotions. Like it's like weighs on you quite a lot, the whole process. So to have that many is quite a lot. But so that's about
so
10.
many people in by design say that to me about like their part-time counsellor, therapist, whatever it is, I don't know. And the problems just get put on your shoulders, and there's only so much you can do. Yeah. And it comes back to service levels as well, in terms of the next recommendation. If you are spreading yourselves too thin and the service isn't there, you're not going to get the recommendation, which is the best kind of business that you want.
Exactly. And then I'm not any different from what everyone else is offering.
Exactly.
You just become the same.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So if there is somebody, and we said this in a slightly different context, and the content we did this morning about women in the premium end of a estate agency. But if there's someone who's listening to this and maybe resonates with you, and maybe they're not even in your area or something, but would you be happy for them to phone you and just bounce that off, that their thoughts, their feelings, their fears, their concerns, apprehensions?
Yeah, no, more than happy. I think I had that when I took the leap to self-employed. There was a lady I used to work with years ago that took the leap, and she was like, I think, a year or so in. So I spoke to her before I started, and then Marie, obviously, I had a great chat with her before I came over to By Design. So I think it's invaluable, and my inbox is always open. I'm more than happy to help where I can and have a chat. And like you say, even if it's not with By Design, then and they just want to talk about self-employed or career progression. I've got a few friends of mine that are starting in estate agency, and what my advice would be, or where to work, to be honest, because I've been in the industry now 12 years. So I know a little bit.
The good, the bad, and the ugly within all of that. Yeah. Perfect, Amanda. Thank you so much for that. That's been a really interesting chat, and I think the where you are now is quite an exciting place. Like you've done the self-employed thing, launched By Design business. Now I think the future of that looks particularly exciting, especially as you grow and with the right people that will find you as much as anything else. I think that in itself would be very exciting for them and for you. So thank you for sharing so much and being so honest about some of the challenges and the mindset that's gone on behind the scenes, because you don't often see that kind of side on socials, do you?
No.
So thank you. Really enjoyed the chat.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Property-Pxrn Stars, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks so much.